keep on a-talking, marching up the freedom way. Ain't gonna let no vote turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no vote turn me around. I'm gonna keep on a-walking, keep on a-talking, marching up the freedom way.
What's kind of the game plan here? You're out here kind of getting everyone together and prepared to go in, obviously.
Well, Pops, these are students from all over the state and all of our campuses who are concerned not just about how they will be affected, but what they're concerned about is the regressive nature of this General Assembly. And now you want to go after the most fundamental right, which is the right to vote. North Carolina has the best laws, signature attestation. There's no evidence of fraud. The only place where we might have trouble is absentee. They're not fixing that. This is about voter suppression. This is about stopping young people and older people and African Americans from voting at their full potential. It's anti-civil rights. And we hope they will back up and change. We hope somebody will say, look, let's table this. Let's think for a minute. Let's remember what's in the North Carolina Constitution. If they don't, then we have to stand firm. We have to ensure that every person in North Carolina, all 4 million people, know what's going on and know how regressive this General Assembly is. This is not democracy. This is power grabbing. This is the arrogance of power. And we cannot allow this because it will destroy the future of this state. And that's why we ain't gonna let nobody turn us around, right?
Right. What are we scared of? We're human. We still have feelings. This is something that we're stepping out on that people did back in the 60s. So, but we have to remember that at the end, all right, we're scared, but we're not going to be fearful of what's about to take place or what's going to go on. God didn't give us a spirit of fear. So we have to be bold people, you know, and just know that what we're doing is going to be a part of history, and we're standing up for something that we can benefit from, our children, our parents, everyone can benefit from.
I'm not fearful of anything, so she could go. I'm fine with that, whatever happens.
I'm not fearful of anything either. Dr. King says our lives end the day we become silent about things that matter. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to stand up for something that we believe in.
Personally, I'm not fearful. I'm willing to do whatever we have to do. I believe that now is the time that we stand up, this generation stand up, and we let our forefathers know, the ones that brought us this far, that, you know, we're going to keep the fight alive. And we're also setting for the generation to come that let me know, okay, we're doing this for you. We're doing this to protect your vote.
A few simple words: fired up, ready to go. Not one step forward. One step forward, not one step back.
Honestly, I'm not fearful of anything. I'm more so just ready to see action. I feel like that if you don't stand for something, that you'll fall for anything. So this is our time to actually stand up, fight for what we believe is right, and let our voices be heard.
I'm personally not fearful of anything. My parents taught me to stand up for what you believe in, so that's what I'm doing today.
At first, I was fearful that we wouldn't be successful, but as long as they see us standing together, fighting for what's right, then everything will be okay.
I'm not fearful of anything, and it brings joy to my heart that us as college students, we can come together and none of us are fearful either. I'm just ready to go in there and make a change and do what I got to do.
I'm not fearful of anything. I'm really happy to be here to let my voice be heard.
I'm very excited and I'm ready to go. Fired up.
Me personally, I'm excited, and one of my favorite Dr. King quotes is, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the entire staircase. So we're just taking a leap out on faith and trusting God that everything's going to go as planned.
I don't think that I'm fearful. I'm just overly excited. I just can't wait for everything to go down, so.
Yeah, she said if you go pick somebody up at the nursing home and they can't talk that well, they shouldn't be able to go. In the middle. Right over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to take up the debate on the last item on the calendar for today. It's the intent of the chair to allow full debate from any member wishing to speak throughout the amendment process as well as the bill. For those in the gallery, this is a matter that I'm sure many of you are aware of and familiar with. It's a matter that has passion on both sides of the issue. The chair would simply remind you that any disruptions in the gallery, either in a positive or negative manner, will be met with a recess and a clearing of the gallery so that we can continue a civil debate. House Bill 589, clerk will read.
Committee substitute number 3 for House Bill 589. The bill is entitled An Act to Restore Confidence in Government by establishing the Voter Information Verification Act to promote the electoral process through education and increased registration of voters, and by requiring voters to provide photo identification before voting to protect the right of each registered voter to cast a secure vote with reasonable security measures that confirm voter identity as accurately as possible without restriction. General Assembly of North Carolina, United.
What this amendment does, it says whatever ID you decide at the end of the day is law. Whatever it requires, whether you allow other types of picture ID, whatever we decide as a body, that same rule applies to absentee ballots. That's what my amendment says.
Recognize where there have been problems and vote for the solutions. I think that Representative Jackson has done a narrowly tailored, rational solution to this problem, and if you really care about fraud, you would vote for it.
39 haven't voted aye, 78 haven't voted no. The amendment fails.
I heard someone say, well, we've got 2 years for this bill to work. And that's a good fiction if you want to buy into it and act like you don't know that the majority of our citizens come out during presidential elections. So we know that's when many of the voters that we won't see until the presidential year, the year this bill goes into effect, they will not be engaged and involved in this supposed glide path toward voter ID. We know what the history is, the volume during presidential elections.
Representative Stevens, please state your purpose.
A point of order. I've been sitting sort of patiently listening to the debate.
You may state your point.
There's been some attack here on personalities, and there's some been impugning the motives of members, which are breaches of the House of Order.
The lady's point is taken. The chair would just simply direct the member to remain focused primarily on the content of the bill versus the motives and intentions of other members within the body.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And
voting is important to a certain group of people in this state and in this nation. It is important because that group of people had to fight you to get that right. The right that you already had, that you didn't have, you had no idea that anybody, had to fight for the same rights that you had.
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
Representative Stevens, please state your point of order.
Are we going on a history lesson, or are we going to stay relevant to the bill? I think we've gone a little far away from that in terms of impugning motives again.
The lady's point is taken. The chair would just ask Representative Rashad, please stay focused and specific references to you, if you is directed to members of the caucus is clearly out of order, or members of this chamber is clearly out of order.
Well, Mr. Speaker, all I was doing was trying to give a little history of why this bill is unnecessary. And that's where I'm going, and I told you I'm going to say some things somebody ain't going to like, and that's the way it's turning out to be. But hey, because since you won't let me go into the history to try to keep you from making the same mistake that a lot of other people made, particularly Republicans made, then...
Speaker again, point of order.
I'm trying to end it.
The chair anticipates the lady's point. The chair takes the point well. The gentleman may proceed.
Thank you. I was trying to finish it, but I didn't want to embarrass you anymore. So there it is, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman, the chair will not provide the gentleman with any further latitude as to closing comments. The chair hopes that he respects.
Yes, sir. I will end. I have to end now.
I find it a little bit amusing that some of the same people who believe we should make laws that would cost billions of dollars based upon a projection of questionable validity that the sea would rise 39 inches in 100 years are complaining about addressing an observable problem.
Please state your purpose.
Are we not going a little bit astray here at this point, sir?
The chair takes the gentleman's point well. The member will focus his comments.
I think the comments are focused, Mr. Speaker. It is chilling to see the intimidation tactics brought to bear on African American.
Representative Michelle, please state your purpose.
Yep.
Mr. Speaker, I still raise the same question. If I wasn't allowed to complete my historical remarks, then I think he's getting off base too, sir. I really do. I think it's just, if I can finish mine, then I won't have any problem with him finishing his.
Representative Shaw, in this particular case, I do believe the gentleman is using references to make a point about the voter fraud, and for that reason, your point is not well taken. The gentleman may proceed for a period not to exceed.
We're talking about
3 minutes.
Going back to quoting.
But when we've looked at the people in North Carolina who don't have IDs, and then we think about who they are and whether or not they're trustworthy, every bit of data that we've gotten about who the greatest population is of people who don't have IDs comes up with the same result. It's older women.
But again, the outcome of this bill is to delay and make it more difficult for citizens to vote who have that right, who constitutionally have that right and should be provided that right without that delay. We say justice delayed is justice denied. Well, the franchise delayed is the franchise denied to an 88-year-old grandmother standing in line who has to wait even longer because of these provisions.
Let's be honest. Every bit of data says this bill will make it more difficult for grandma to vote.
Our citizens are from every race and walk of life. Our senior citizens are from every race and walk of life. Our students are from virtually every state in the country.
In this bill, there's this whole complicated challenge if you don't look like who you say you look like. Might be the first time in North Carolina that some people who had thought that a lot of black people all look alike don't start looking alike. It's going to take longer, it's going to be more contentious at the polls. And that's going to make it harder for everyone to vote.
What type of legacy are you really leaving for the children? See those children up there? Those children have been there for the last 3 hours with tapes around their mouths because they understand what this bill has the potential to do, which is take their voice away. Take them out of the electoral system. These children are our future, black, white, Latino. They're our future. They're going to be the future leaders. They're going to be in this house one day. Some of them right there, probably even in that gallery. So we have to do everything that we can in our short time here to make sure that our legacy is righteous enough for these children to want to carry on.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom way. Ain't gonna let no vote turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no vote turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom way.
The vote is the most powerful instrument ever designed by man for breaking down injustices,
and destroying the terrible walls which imprison men because they are different from other men. We should not be suppressing the vote, but defending and expanding the right.
That's right.
Why did not that body want to hear their own constitution? Their own constitution that they swore to uphold. Their own constitution, our constitution, written by those fusion politicians, blacks and whites in the 1860s who wanted to move North Carolina into a better place. And to proceed in this way, as though the goal of the Speaker and maybe the Senate pro tem later when they vote on in the Senate and the governor and other legislators, they are proceeding as though they want to be known as the George Wallaces of the 21st century. It's a shameful display of the arrogance of power, tyranny in the political process. This legislature has had laws overturned because they passed laws that are discriminatory, which is illegal. The Speaker of the House had to admit to himself on national television after they spent millions and millions of dollars to say to people there was fraud, that there was no evidence of fraud. He knows, and this General Assembly knows, that voter fraud rationale is fiction. This bill amounts to nothing more than voter suppression. No matter how calm and apparently civil this debate appeared today, this bill is uncivil, unconstitutional, unnecessary, and we will challenge it. They have crossed the moral line in the sand. Today, the General Assembly failed all North Carolinians. They failed the elderly. They failed students. They failed people with disabilities. They failed people of color. And they failed every North Carolinian, Republican or Democrat, who believe in democracy. And we will challenge it.
I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom way. Ain't gonna let Mr. Tillis turn me around. Well, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let Mr. Tillis turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom way. Ain't gonna let no vote turn me around. Well, turn me around. Well, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no vote turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom way. Nobody ain't gonna let